Hey guys, welcome to this MERN authentication tutorial video. This is Kaustubh Singh. In this video, we will be discussing how to create a secure and robust authentication system for your man. Hey guys, welcome to this MERN authentication tutorial video. In this video, we'll be discussing how to create a secure and robust authentication system for your MERN stack application. MERN stack refers to the popular web development stack that you all know, and it includes a system like MongoDB, Express.js, React.js, and Node.js. These technologies together allow for the creation of modern, scalable, and efficient web application. One of the key aspects of any web application is user authentication. Without a secure user authentication, your system is vulnerable to malicious attackers and unauthorized access, right? So in this tutorial, we'll be discussing and walking through the process of setting a MERN stack authentication using JSON Web Tokens and a popular package like bcrypt. We'll also be covering important security consideration and best practices to ensure that your authentication system is as secure as possible. So whether you are a beginner or experienced developer, this tutorial will provide you with valuable insights into creating a robust and secure authentication system for your MERN stack application. So let's get started. So first thing first we need to do is we have to create a server. Okay, so you can see that I already have a folder named server and a client, so I won't be dealing with client right now. I'll be testing all my routes and everything into my Postman. So now what we need to do is we have to create an index file in here. So I'll do index.js. Okay, and now what to do inside our server, we have to do npm init why. Okay, so it will answer all the questions that it used to ask automatically, so this saves a lot of time. So as you can see, I have my package.json file over here, and what I'll do is I'll use a start script in here, and I'll use alright, so I'll use NodeMon, and I've already installed NodeMon. It's in my global package. Okay, so now in here we need to install some of the packages, so I'll install one by one whenever I need them. So right now I need an package called Express, so I'll install the Express, npm I express. So as you can see, our package is installed, and we'll confirm it by going inside our package.json, and you can see in dependencies we have Express with the latest version. So what I have to do here is we have to import the Express package. So what I'll say is Express
is equals to require express. Now we'll assign this to a constant app variable. So express, and we'll execute this over.
Alright, so in order to create a server, now we have to type a command which is app.list. Onto my Postman. Before that I have to create a get request, so I'll just do app.get, and on the root URL I will say and let's see whether we get this in our Postman. So where is my Postman? It's here. Yeah, and let's check the console once. Okay, so I have not started the server yet. So what I will do is I'll create a start script which I've already defined in my package.json, and the start script says NodeMon index. So NodeMon, it's in my global package. So if you have not installed NodeMon, you definitely go and install the NodeMon in your terminal by typing npm I NodeMon, and then you have to define a start script into your package.json. So what I'll say now is npm start my server, npm start. And as you can see, our console log is showing up here. It's saying server is up and running. So let's go into our Postman, and let's send the get request onto our localhost 5000. And as you can see, we have got the response which says server is running. So we have successfully connected to our server. Now what we'll do is we'll go to the MongoDB, and we'll connect the MongoDB database into our server file. So now I'll show you the process of how can you connect your MongoDB Compass onto your local server. So I won't be using Atlas, and I've installed the MongoDB Compass locally onto my Windows. So I'll just open that, and disconnect. So when you click onto the connect option, you see this new connection URI, this MongoDB localhost 27017. So what if you do is you have to press, you have to just copy this URI. Okay, so let's copy it and then you have to press enter. Alright. So next what you have to do is you have to install a package which is called Mongoose. So I'll just install it and I will install this into the new terminal because my server is already running to the old terminal. So what I'll do is cd server, and inside here what I will do is I'll type the command npm I mongoose. Okay, so guys, I have installed my mongoose library. So I'll just show you the confirmation in package.json. So as you can see, we have installed the Mongoose latest version over here. And now I expect you guys to know what Mongoose is, but if you don't know, it's like a JavaScript oriented programming library that creates a connection between MongoDB and Node.js. So it's kind of an abstraction over MongoDB. Okay, so that's a lame term for Mongoose. So now what we will do is we'll establish a connection between our server and MongoDB database. So what we'll do is we'll just import our MongoDB package into our index.js file. Cons and then we have to provide the URI of our local database, which I already showed you just a couple of seconds before. And what you have to do is you are inside the string quotes, you have to paste this command over here, the URI. Okay, so the next thing what if you do is you have to change it inside a then command, and then you have to log this to just confirm that whether your MongoDB connection was successful or not. So I'll just type DB connection successful. So when you will run this command mongoose.connect, and .then will actually, whenever you connect to the MongoDB server, this will console log your message that DB connection is successful. So what we'll do now is we'll save this code and let's see whether our console log gets printed out or not. Okay, so as you can see, our log is successfully inside our terminal, which says DB connection is successful, which means we have successfully connected to this. Alright, so now we have connected to the MongoDBs, and we'll create a user schema. So okay, so in order to save our user information, we have to create a user schema that will be saved inside our database. So in here we'll create a folder which is called schema. And inside the schema folder we'll create a file which is called user schema. Okay, schema.js. Inside the user schema.js we have to import our Mongoose package too. So we'll quickly import it. It's an ESLint error, so we'll just ignore it. And now what we'll do is we have to create a schema over here. Alright, so we'll do one more field over here which is called confirm password. Okay, because if the user just types in password and if you don't know what he actually typed and he just saves it, and later if you try to log in and you don't know what exactly the password was, so it will create a bad user experience, and we don't want to do that. So confirm password is really necessary, and the type will be string. So there is one method which the Mongoose gives us. It's called validate. So we'll just use it here. We'll type validate, and what validate it does is it actually validates your field, whether the provided field is validated or not. So what we'll do is inside the validate field we'll create a function. Okay, so first we'll use the validator keyword, which automatically suggests us. So we'll create the validator, and inside validator what we'll do, we'll define a function. So function, and this function will take an element as an argument, and inside the function we'll just return the element whether it is equal to this dot password. Okay, so when this validator will run, it will run this function too, and inside the function, as you can see, the statement return L is equal to the password or not. So it will return true or false. So if the password if the password provided in this validator field is equal to the password provided up there in the password field, so if it is equal to the password, which is confirm password is equal to the password, so it will return true and the validator will pass. Otherwise, if the element inside the password confirm password is not equal to the password, it will return false and the sign-in process will fail. So you have to make sure that you type the both passwords right. Actually, this validate process you can also do it in the front end, but to be more convenient, I'll do it in the back end. So there goes the validator function, and now we have created our user schema. So what next we'll do is we'll export this schema. So first we'll assign it to the model, const mongoose dot model, and in here you have to pass a field name, which should be, actually I've created the field name, let me check it. So we'll leave it, we'll let the mongoose assign it automatically. So what we'll do is just create this user, and then we'll pass in the user schema. Alright, and what next we'll do is we'll just export this module. So module dot export is equals to user, and that's it. So we have exported our module successfully. So now what we need to do is we have to create a controller. So I'll just create one more folder inside my server folder, which is called controller, and inside the controller we'll define all the controls of creating user, sign in user, login in user, and everything. So what we'll do is we'll give this file name user controller, let's make a lot of sense, .js. Okay, so now in user controller what we have to do is first we'll import the user schema that we have created here, and the user schema is called user. So we'll just import this. So in user controller we'll declare a variable called user and require, it is inside our schema and user schema. Alright, okay, so let's quickly create a controller for creating the user, and let's see whether our defined programs are working correctly or not. So we'll do exports dot create user. Alright, so what it will take is it is an async function. So we'll do async, and this will take request and response. And now inside the try block, because you have to try this sort of code, and then we'll catch the error, because there will always be an error, so we have to catch it too. So inside error what I will do is we'll just say res dot status, the status, and the status is 404, our error itself. Okay, so what we have to try, so we have to try to, okay, so I'll just fix this. So we have to try and create user. So first thing first, we'll be getting some things from our request.body, which was all our defined schemas. So what I'll do is I'll quickly just create const, we'll destructure it, and we'll say red.body, because we are getting this sort of things from our body. So what the things we are getting from our body is username, email, password, and confirm password. No, we'll use the confirm password over here too. and later we'll just disable it into the MongoDB compass, so it won't be saved there, but we'll be using this thing over here too, just to show you guys that this is working properly. So we'll get the username, so user. So now we are receiving all these fields from our request.body, and now what we'll do is we'll say const new user is equals to, as it is our racing function, so we have to use await over here. Await. Now inside the user, so we just imported a user from our user schema, so we'll use the user over here, user.create. And now what you have to do is we have to pass all the things that we are getting from our request.body. So we'll just pass it one by one over here. So we are getting username, so we'll send the response after we get all these things successfully. So return the response if there was a success response, response dot status, and the data will be our new user itself. So new user. Okay, so now let's test this. Before we have to define the route, so yeah, let's just export this too. So this is already a exported variable, so I'll just import this inside my index.js. So up here what we'll do is const user controller is equals to require inside our controller, then the user controller. Alright, so now it will be a post request, so we'll do app.post and the URL will be user. Okay, user. And now we have to just use the method which we have imported, user.controller dot create user. So as you can see, this is already suggesting me create user. Alright, so creating user is defined on /user. Guys, one quick thing, that this right now this won't work because I declared any middleware that will just parse the body. So actually you can use the express JSON, and I like to use the body parser thing, so I'll just install the body parser thing, npm I body parser. So guys, our body parser package is installed, so we'll import this into our index.js. So const body parser is equals to require body parser. Alright, so now what we have to do is we have to just use this body parser. So we'll say that app.use and body parser dot JSON. Alright, so now we are ready to send the request with the user filled in information. So we'll be using our postman to do this. So let's get inside our postman, and the route was localhost 5000 and the user, and the method will be post. And inside the body we have to declare some fields. As you can see that I've already have predefined information in here which says email, password and confirm password. So we'll just quickly test it once where it was. So we have to get the username, email, password and confirm password. So I have to add one more field which is username, and the N is capital. So we'll make sure that we don't do any kind of mistake over here. It will be equals. Okay. So everything is good. We have username, email, password and confirm password. So let's then send this request. Okay, so we got everything, and as you can see that we have a Mongoose has assigned us an ID. So this means that we have actually done all our steps correctly. So just we'll confirm this inside our MongoDB compass. So let's go inside our compass and we'll just refresh this once. Actually, I don't know whether this is connected or not, so let's just disconnect this and try to connect this once more. Okay, so as you can see, I have a database name tutorial YT. So I'll go inside this and you can see that we have the folder in there which says auth test. Actually I did a very big mistake. Actually I not defined my database over here. So what I will do is I will go inside my index.js and into the MongoDB URI. What you have to do is you have to put /nr and we have to type our database name over here. So this mistake what I did is I didn't provide the name. So I'll just copy it down, my database name, tutorial YT, and then we'll just paste in over here and now it should work. Alright, we got our response back which says DB connection successful, and we'll send this once more. So let's send this and we still get the success message, and let's see whether we have the information or not. But we will refresh this once more, and as you can see that we have a users folder in there which we created just now, and inside that, voila, we have our user which says user is Kostob and the email is kostob@mail.com and the password and confirm password. So we got everything correctly, and till now we have done everything fine. So one more thing I would like to show you guys is that confirm password. Okay, so we created the logic for confirm password, so we'll just test this once more. So what was the logic? Okay, so inside the validator we defined that if the confirm password is not equal to the password, then it should return false, and the user should not be able to create his account. So let's test this once more into the postman, and inside the confirm password we'll provide a wrong value that is not equal to the password. So instead of, okay, so what I'll do is first I'll delete this user. Alright, now we'll provide a different value to the confirm password which is not equal to the password. So I'll do hello world. Okay, so as you can see our password is hello world and our confirm password is hello world, which is not equal. So let's send this now, and we got the error and it says that validation failed. The confirm password does not matches with the password. So our validator is working fine, and now we'll fix this and we'll type the right password and now we'll send. Okay, so this is all working fine. This, as you can see, we have got our user over here, so this is all working fine. Okay guys, so there is a big demerit in our database. So as you can see, our password and confirm password is right open in front. So if any user can get access to our database credential, he can exploit these things of our user information, and that will be a very bad reputation for your startup or company. So we don't want to have that kind of thing in here. So what we'll do is we'll just encrypt this password field by using the very popular package which is called bcrypt. So we'll be using that, and this confirm password field doesn't make any sense over here to go inside a database because we are just testing it on our backend whether the password provided by the user is equal to the confirm password. So to be inside this database, this field doesn't make any sense, so we'll remove this too. So what next we'll do is we'll go inside our VS Code, particularly in our backend logic, and inside a user schema. Okay, what we'll do is whenever the user sends a request to save his document, that function will exactly run before saving this document, and whatever the thing that you provide in that function, that will actually run, and your document will be saved accordingly. So I'll just quick provide a comment over here. So how this middleware works is it will take your user schema, which is all this. So user schema, and dot pre is the method, and in the pre we have to specifically target for the save. So what we'll do is save. As you can see, this is all suggesting me, so you will not fall into any kind of problem if you're using the right keywords. So this will be an async function too because this has to do with our database. So async, and now it will take a function, and inside the function argument it will take a next, because this is a middleware, so we have to always provide a next value inside this. So yeah, and now what we'll do is we have to encrypt or hash our password. So for this I have to install a package which is called bcrypt. So I don't know what exactly terms we use to install that package, so I'll go into my Chrome, and what I will do is npm I bcrypt to just confirm what the name actually is. It's not that, I guess it's this. Yeah, it's bcrypt. Okay, so I'll just copy it from here, and now what I'll do is inside a server, make sure that you are inside your server file folder, and just paste this command, and I will install this package. Okay, so our bcrypt package is installed successfully, so we'll just confirm it. So inside the dependency you can see that bcrypt we have installed it successfully. So now in user schema we'll have to import it. So const b, we got it. Okay, so we got our bcrypt successfully. So now inside our pre function, what we have to do is we have to use this dot password, because we use a function declaration to use this thing, because in error function you can't use this keyword, so we use the declaration for that. So this dot password is equals to await, and now we have to use our imported package which is bcrypt. So bcrypt dot encrypt. Okay, so this will encrypt. Oh, wait a second. No, it's not encrypt, it's actually hash. So I just forgot what it is. So hash, and now what will hash is the password. So what we'll do is this dot password. Alright. And now we have to provide one more value to it, which is called salt. And I don't know what salt exactly is, but as far as I know, it kind of adds a random data to your password, which will make it more secure, and it's kind of process intensive thing. So people usually suggest you to use values between 8 to 10, because if you use higher value it can actually slow down your process. So what we'll do is we'll use 10 over here. And alright, so we encrypted our password field successfully. And one more thing that we need to do is we have to use this dot confirm password thing, and confirm password will be set to undefined, because we don't want it to go into our database to occupy some random space. Okay, so let's test this once more, and let's see that our pre-function is working fine or not. So I will make sure my server is running. Yes, my server is running. I'll do a quick refresh. And now what I will do is I will go inside my Postman. Before that, I'll go into my MongoDB, and I'll delete this user thing over here. So as you can see, that password field was completely open, so people just could read your password. And now what we did is we encrypted that, so we'll test that out. Alright, so as you can see, there is no more data inside our DB. So we'll go to our Postman. Where is my Postman? It's here. Okay, so we'll send the request again. And now as you can see in the response, we have got our username and email and the password. You can see that password is encrypted with some random number of letters. So let's go inside a database and we'll do refresh, and as you can see our password is completely encrypted. Yeah, and one more thing, that this dot password field is gone, so we actually have 4 fields over here, and our logic is so far working great. Okay, so guys, we did one thing wrong in here. So before that, I'll just show you what I did wrong. So this was our function which was here. So what I did was I didn't execute my next over here. Just because of this, I wasn't able to execute my code which was defined after this, because this is a middleware function and you always have to declare your next. So please make sure you don't do this kind of mistakes, or your code will be blocked and it won't go on to the next middleware. So what next we have to do is we have to write our login logic, and also before that we have to create some more users. So let's first create this. Okay, so we'll check this in our Mongo, and we have successfully got our both documents over here. So now what you have to do is we have to create our login logic, and before that what I will do is I will install a package called JSON Web Token. So I'll quickly show what is that. npm I JSON Web Tokens. Okay, so we have to install this package into our server. Okay, so our JSON Web Token package is installed successfully, and we have to install one more package which is called .env. So I'll check that too into my browser. .env. Yes, and it is this. Okay, so we have to install this too. So if you don't know what env file is, actually env files are actually used to store sensitive credential or sensitive information such as API keys or other sensitive information which you don't want to execute on your server, or you don't want that file to be present on somewhere, so actually someone can get access to it, and that can really misuse your credential or information, so you don't want it to be on the server. So this is exactly why we use our env file. So now what we'll do is we'll go to our index.js. So what we'll do here is that we'll import the env packages that we just installed. Required .env. Alright, and next what we have to do is we have to inside our server file we have to create one more file which is called the config.env. Alright, so in this file now we can store our all sensitive information and credentials. So in our index.js what I will do is I will provide a path to this config.env so that our code can access the information stored inside that file. So now what we'll do is we have to actually provide a path to a .env variable. So .env.config, and inside the config we have to provide path. Okay, so path will be our config file, config.env. Alright, so now our .env has access to this config over here. So whatever you just store inside this will actually be accessible to the .env variable inside our index.js. So now inside the config.env file what you have to do is you have to create a variable, just call it as JWT secret. Okay, secret. Alright, so now you have to assign a secret to this variable. So I'll create my secret. So why I'm writing this topic of sentence. So the secret is what which we'll be using in our JWT to assign a token, and in order to assign a token now we have to create this secret, and the secret is basically a kind of a encryption method. So what you have to do is you have to really provide a very big secret like this one. So I don't suggest you to use just exactly like this which I declared in here. You can use your own, but the bigger it is the better it is. Okay, so just create a one secret, and what else I will do is I'll also create JWT expires in property, and I will assign this to like 10 days. Okay, so you can actually create your own time duration. I'll just set it on 10 days for my expiration property. And next what we'll do is inside our controller now we'll create one function now we'll create one function which is actually used to which will actually assign the token to the person that creates their account, or the person who actually logins to their account in order to get authenticated. So before we actually log in, first we have to send this token to the user which is created. Okay, so when the user will actually create his account with all these informations, the token that the function we are going to create is called sign in token, that will send the token as a response to this created user, which will exist in the information of the user just created. So first thing first, that is that we have to create a function. So let's import our JWT over here. And now what we'll do is we'll create a function. Okay, so we'll create a function which is called sign in token. Let's call it that, sign token. Okay, and now what this function will take, it will take an ID as an argument, and this will be an arrow function. And now what we have to do is we have to return. Okay, return JWT dot sign. So this is a method provided by JWT, and what we'll do is we'll take the ID, we'll destructure it over here, and what we'll do is we'll call our .env thing. Okay, so process dot env. all right, now what we have to do is we have to provide this our secret that we just created inside our key config env. So we'll go in here and I'll copy this property name ctrlc, and what I'll do is I'll just paste it in there. Okay, so we successfully did this part, and now what you have to do is, so this takes one more property which you can actually leave it or you can just write it. So I'll just provide the property 2, which is called expires in, and this is also going to be our process.env. Remember we declared a expires in property over here. So we'll go inside our file and we'll just copy this. Okay, alright, so our function is ready, and what we'll do is when I'm creating a user, what I will do inside the, I'll also create a one more key which is called token, and in the try block, okay, above. Okay, so what we'll do is const token is equals to the function that we just created, sign in token, and now what we can do is we can assign the user ID to this function in the parameters. So new user dot, and so you remember how MongoDB used to give us ID, so let's quickly show you that. So this is what the key of an ID looks like. Okay, so please don't do a mistake over here, and I'll just paste this over here. Alright, so we did this successfully, and now what we'll do is inside the token we'll just assign the token we just created. Alright, okay, so just let's test this that all is working fine or not. Our server is running. Let's create one more user which will be called, let's say, red, and the password will be same with just extra thing, and just will send the request. And as you can see that we have a token in here. Alright, so we refresh it over here too. Okay, great, we have everything up and running. The token will not show in our MongoDB because we don't want it to be there. So as you can see, this token is already there in the response. So what we'll do is we'll create a login logic. So I'll do exports dot login user. Alright, so this will be an async function obviously, and it we'll work on here later. So first I will create an instance method. If you have not heard of this name before, so I'll just show you what it is. So I'll go back to my user schema, and in here what I'll do is I'll just comment it here. So what instance method is? So instance method is basically it's a method that you declare into your schema. It's basically declared for the schema, and that method is available everywhere where when you try to get access to your user model. Okay, so we'll create an instance method over, and we'll use our user schema dot methods. It's a keyword, and this is a method. Okay, so I'll call my method correct password. Okay, and what this will do is it will be an async function first. Async function, and it will take two arguments, which is called candidate password. So it's not a predefined argument. You can just create your own argument. Candidate password and user password. So this candidate password is what the user will provide when he tries to log in, and this user password is what that is inside our database. So this function will actually check whether this both password is equal and same, and the user is authorized, or the user is just trying to give us some bad information. So what this will do is it will return and we have to remember our password inside our database is actually crypted, so we have to call this function over here again, which is called bcrypt method. And what we have to do is we have to do bcrypt.compare, and the candidate provided user provided password versus the user password. Okay, so this method, compare method, which is provided by bcrypt, will actually just decrypt the candidate password, and it will compare with to the user password, and it will return true or false. Alright, so this is what this will do, and now we have access to this method everywhere. So what I will do is I will go back to my user controller. So inside our user controller, we are already finding the user by its email and password, and then we are assigning the token to the user. And now what we'll do is we'll just write our if condition, if not user. Okay, and we'll also do await over there because we are going inside our database, user dot, and now we'll call our method we just created over there, confirm password. Actually, just let me check what was the name. It's correct password. I'll just copy it there, just copy it, and I'll paste it over there. We have access to this. Okay, so now in the parameter what I will provide is the value that the user is trying to give, and the user password which is inside the database. So I'll give the password, which is this, that's user password when it's trying to log in, password. And now I will give the user password. So we have the user password inside this variable. So what we'll do is user dot password. Okay, so this will return true or false based on this. Now we can say is return res dot status 401 dot JSON. Okay, so what this is doing is that if the user is not there or the password is incorrect, okay, so it will display this message, incorrect email or password. Why I'm not doing an implicit check is because when the user tries to log in with a different password, just take it as a potential hacker. So if he tries to log in, and if he gets the message that the password that the username is right but the password is wrong, so he will try some more methods to actually get the correct password. And if I show this message, which is incorrect email or password, then he will be confused that whether my password is wrong or my email is wrong. So it will be like one more layer of a security that you can implement just like this. So yeah, so if the user is provided and the correct password is true, then what we'll do is uh, rest.status, which is actually for 200, and just let me do my cat statement ready. Alright, so I'll explain this thing to you once more, this full logic. So what I'm doing is here that I'm getting email and password from the request.body. Then I'm checking whether the email and password is provided by the user or not. If email or password doesn't exist, if any one of this will not exist, then the message will be enter the email and password. And now if the user provides the email and password, then we'll just find the email and password by user.find one. If this is actually correct, then the user will be assigned as the user which is inside the database. Now also what we'll do is we'll assign a token, and we'll again use this user ID. And later what I'm doing is I'm creating just one more if, which will check actually if the user or the password. So if this is false or this is false, if any one of these is false, then this will return the statement which is called incorrect email or password. So if my execution doesn't fall into this if statement, which means the user provided email and password is actually right, and if it is right, then I'm sending a status of a response which is success and also the token. So if the user is trying to access with the different password which is not actually stored inside the database, this will return false and we'll get the message of incorrect email and password. But if this both is right, then we'll get the response of success and the token will be generated. So let's quickly test this. And before testing this, I will create the route for this login. So what I will do is this will also be a post method, and this will be login and user controller dot login user. Absolutely right. So now we'll open our postman and we'll change this to login. Alright, so I already have this username which is red, and the email is this and the password is this. So just quickly remove these things from here. Confirm password. Alright, so first what I will do is I will just try to log in with the wrong password. So okay, is there some kind of error? So actually what I did wrong here was actually I was searching for the password over here too. So I was doing this just because this is encrypted and it won't find with that name. So I should actually have removed this before, but okay, little debugging is important. So we have everything. I've just used this console log for debugging. I will remove this, and now let's test this out. Okay, so alright, so first what I will do is I'll just try to remove the password thing over here, and I'll just try to enter. So this, so my code is actually is in this part. So if the password doesn't exist, then return this message. So what I did was I did not provide a password, so I got the right message which says enter email and password. So what next I will do is I will actually provide the password, and then I'll provide a wrong password. Okay, so just remove 3 from there, and now I will send this. Now it says incorrect email or password. Okay, so now it's my execution is falling into this statement which says if there is no user or the password is wrong, then print this message incorrect email or password. Alright, so what I will do is I will now provide the right password, which is 3. Okay, so now it should send me a response where I have a success message plus also a token, and now I'll send this. Okay, so we got our token successful, which means this user is authenticated and we already have this user in our database. Alright, so this was our little video, and I know it's not little, actually it's a very big video, but it was all important to show you guys the correct process of authentication. So what next you can do is you can, based on this check, you can actually prevent the users or the unauthorized users from accessing the unauthorized URLs like your data or some sensitive data. So I hope you got to learn something good from this video, and the next part of this video will be coming very soon, which will be how to persist a user based on the cookies that my friend will be showing you guys. So definitely subscribe to this channel and like this video if you find it good, and yes, stay tuned.